Welcome to Festpod, the unofficial download festival guide. I'm Neil Wilkinson. This is the place for news and rumours about the festival, advice for going, and your chance to get involved and ask your questions too. So now let's welcome my fellow hosts. Lee Ellingham, how the devil are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. You all right?
What have you been up to in the last little while? Because we've been away for a little bit, back again now. So what's new with Lee?
What's new with Lee? Lee has a little fur baby called Oscar.
A little dog?
Yeah, little beagle.
Oh, they're lovely. They're very wayward. I've lived with a beagle before.
We adopted him from Greece, so he's still getting used to everything around the house and getting used to the area.
Can he understand you?
Do you know what? Actually, when you say that, I just think I might have to learn Greek just to ease him in. But no, he seems to be doing okay. It's the weather that he doesn't seem to be adjusting well to.
So you've got your own little mascot, a little download dog of your own.
Yeah, he's not red though.
Okay, well, find us on the socials by looking for Festpod and get in touch with us. Go to festpod.co.uk and you can get in touch with us there as well. Say hi, ask our advice about download, or just chime in with whatever you want to say to us. So we have been away for a little while, so we have one or two items of news. Download festival, well, not specifically download festival news, because there isn't always download festival news, but there is festival news. So what have we got? What are we kicking off with this time around?
Unfortunately, nothing download, like you said, but we'll kick off with Bloodstock. I think the last time we spoke, they hadn't announced their final headliner.
Oh.
But their final headliner is Behemoth.
Oh, Behemoth. Oh, yes, I've seen them.
Yes, they were at Download in 2019, I believe. Is that right? That's when Slipknot played, wasn't it?
Don't ask me for specific details about particular years. I was drunk the whole time.
Oh, wow. Is it that long ago that I can't remember it?
We've had 3 lockdowns since then. I can't remember.
They've announced Behemoth as their final headliner. The most recent announcement was 9 bands in total. Their most recent announcement, with the special guest on the Sunday, Killing Joke, who are a mixture of different sort of metals. I believe they take influence from Lamb of God, Slipknot, those sorts of types of bands.
Oh, brilliant.
And they are special guests or the sub-headliner slots to Lamb of God for the Sunday. So that's a really good bump up for them, because they are quite a popular band.
Yeah.
Other bands that were announced recently for Bloodstock were All Hail the Yeti. I think that's a fantastic name for a band.
All Hail the Yeti!
Hail the Yeti.
Yeah.
Cattle Decapitation.
You can't beat metal band names, can you? They're the best names in the business.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
So, some of them are just so bloody out there. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah. What else we got? Orbit Culture, Tala, Samael. Yeah, I think I'm pronouncing those.
Oh, it sounds like you're struggling a bit with that one.
It's Samael. Samael.
Okay.
I believe they're a Swedish band, or maybe no, Swiss band, not Swedish, Swiss.
Switzerland,
yeah. Kyra, Cyhra.
Okay.
Should learn these pronunciations before talking.
No, but you know how are we supposed to know? They're not Iron Maiden, are they? They're not mega. They're not huge. We don't know.
There's another band called Noctem, which I listened to, I think last year for Bloodstock. Again, quite extreme death sort of metal sort of stuff.
Oh, you like that though, don't you?
I do. Everyone at work is dumbfounded with my fascination with black metal, death metal, metalcore, and all that sort of thing. So, it's just noise. I can't understand it. So, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, it's not Adele.
No. Although she's doing quite well at the minute.
Oh, she's doing phenomenally well. Yeah, nothing against Adele.
No, well, one of the blokes at work actually put her album, because he hadn't listened to the new album. He likes it, doesn't listen to the new album, and it's all ballads. Which,
oh yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not a massive ballad fan.
No, I'm not.
But then again, I can always appreciate when an artist is doing well, especially the fact that she is one of the few in the limelight that write their own music or write their own songs at least.
Do you know what? I watched that thing, An Audience with Adele, on ITV a few weeks ago, and technically, she's an amazing vocalist. She's hitting every single note, and the songs are pleasant. I wouldn't spend any money on it, and I wouldn't particularly seek it out to listen to it either. I've no problem with it at all. I've just not. It's not really what I would choose to listen to.
End of the day, art as in music and art is subjective. So end of the day, nobody should judge you for not liking it.
No. So if you like Adele, good on you.
Yeah. Bloke at work only likes her. Well, doesn't like her anymore. Do you know why he doesn't like her anymore? Because she lost weight.
What?
I think that's horrendous. I know we've all got our types in the people that we like, but I mean, like, if she feels good about the losing weight and that she finds it as an achievement, to say like I don't like her anymore, she's not fat anymore.
That's bizarre.
Bizarre.
I don't like her anymore because she's not fat. That's so weird. That is such a weird thing to say.
I do work with a few weirdos, to be fair, and they do know about this podcast.
So hello, if you're listening.
I'd be intrigued. I'd be very intrigued if they actually ever do listen. I come into the next day at work like, oh, I listen to your podcast.
Yeah, so we know you like Adele and we think you're weird. But anyway.
Yeah.
Who else is on at Bloodstock?
There's one more band they announced. They're called Nanowar of Steel.
Nanowar?
Nanowar. Not Nanowar. You're not going to war with your nana. Nanowar.
Not nanas at war with each other.
No.
Although that sounds like a program I would watch. Nanas at war with steel. Yes.
Why hasn't ITV or the BBC actually done that? That sounds like something that the British population would enjoy to watch.
If they don't do it, Sky will. Do it in a pub car park, very cheap.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so not Nanas at war, but
Nanowar of Steel.
See, I'm still hearing Nanowar.
No, I am now. You've mentioned it.
Okay. So, have you heard them or not?
No, unfortunately. Do you know what? A lot of the bands that have been announced for most of the festivals that have announced in the last couple of weeks, a lot of the bands I've not heard or listened to, but it's a good opportunity for me to dive nose first into some new music.
Yes. Arctangent have released their latest lineup, haven't they?
They have. So on the top of their list that they've announced is a lady called Emma Ruth Rundle. This was this announcement. This was one of the top names on the announcement, and they're very excited to have her there. Again, never listened to any of her music, but with the sort of buzz that's around her, it'd be definitely worth checking her out or checking her music out.
It's nice to have more female acts around, actually. So I'm pleased that they've put her on the list.
It is a breath of fresh air to see more women on lineups again.
Yeah, because it's all male dominated, isn't it?
Do you know what the unfortunate thing is that, I mean, generally speaking, the genres that we listen to, and to be fair, a lot of the mainstream genres, a lot of them are male dominated, and it is always good to find some female artists that do come through, and you do realise actually, do you know what? Women can hold their own. They shouldn't be male dominated. I mean, we can all love and get on despite what's between someone's legs. Do you know what I mean? to be crude about it.
It all comes down to genitals, doesn't it? It's always about the genitals with you.
It is though, isn't it? Life is all about genitals. There's a slogan for you, and I'll say it again. Life is all about genitals.
Fine, okay. Just trying to think of a name now while you what's she called again?
Emma Ruth Rundle.
Emma, you're right. Okay, so separating that from her genitals, her music is on. Is she headlining there?
No, I don't think she is. But the way that she was announced, she was one of the top names of the announcement. So I imagine that they are quite excited by her being at the festival.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. To be honest, I mean, I've never heard of her. I've never heard of any of her music. But if a festival is excited to announce, again, put someone at the top of their list, is excited by them, then it gives us something else to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, it's their job to curate an exciting lineup for us to go and find all these artists that maybe we've never heard of. So if they're excited and they found her or whatever, and they're excited to have her on the lineup, then we should be too.
Oh, definitely. Totally agree.
Who else is on it? Arctangent.
You've got a couple of bands called, you've got Car Bomb. Again, never heard of them, unfortunately.
Car Bomb?
Car Bomb, yep.
Okay.
Sounds quite terroristy. But
it does a bit, yeah. Just a tad.
I mean, maybe there's something to the name that, again, we're not seeing. And we're only, unfortunately, the world that we live in, that was our first port of call.
Yeah. Okay.
I will continue.
Yeah.
A band called Slow Crush. Right. Again, never heard of them. Last, literally LAST. Fall of Messiah. I recognise the name. But again,
I do actually. Yeah, I can't. I'm not sure. I mean, I put Spotify on and just let the music wash over me without necessarily looking at who it's by or what it's called. Yeah. So there's a good chance that I've actually heard these bands.
So you just mentioned about popping Spotify on and just obviously let it wash over you. The next band that was announced sort of caught my eye in doing that.
Yeah.
They're called Mule. They are a Danish
Mule.
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 I can't show you. I can't show you how to spell it either. So they're a Danish band. It's M-O, but the O's got a strike through the middle of it and an L, right?
Mule.
And Mule. The O is
Sorry. Mule.
Yeah. So
sorry. Okay.
I've been learning Norwegian.
Have you?
Sporadically through the last 3 years, and the O is and that particular O is an
in Norwegian.
Yeah, in Norwegian, but they share the language and the and how it's written is very, very similar.
I'm very impressed that you're learning another language. I didn't know about this.
I wouldn't be too impressed. It's been something that's been on my phone for the last 3 years, and I've dipped in and out, whereas my wife is full on invested in it. I
just got charged 120 quid by an instrument learning app. I won't name them, but they suddenly, because last year I signed up for it and barely used it on a special offer, and they've just gone, oh well, you must want to continue, obviously, so we'll just charge you 120 quid. Thanks very much. Goodbye. Just like that. I was lucky enough to get in there just before this new language app, let's say, just before they got in to charge me £80 for the year. I managed to cancel it because obviously I wasn't using it, and you can still use the app obviously without buying the premium, but because I'm not as invested as my wife, I've decided I don't need the premium. I'll just dip in whenever I like. Sneaky.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mern. So
they are a melodic extreme metal band.
I would like that.
They've one of their albums has their vocals, and one of their albums is the same songs without the vocals.
Oh, really?
And I could easily just listen to both and just literally just fall asleep. When I say fall asleep to it, I mean that in a really good way.
I've never heard of a band doing that before.
Some bands do. I know. You know Ailstorm?
Yeah.
They did on the back of one of their albums. They did the instrumental for all the music, and where the lyrics are supposed to be, they've added dog barks from a keyboard. It is fantastic. It's brilliant. I almost said to my wife, we should play that when we next visit my parents in Cornwall and have that on Spotify and see if he reacts to the barking.
Alrighty, so then we have 2,000 Trees.
I've only got 2 of the bands on my list here because, again, I don't know the other bands. There was only 6 that were announced recently, and 2 of them I just enjoy the names of these two bands.
Right, go on.
So the first one is Bears in Trees,
Oh, I love it.
which I found quite funny because obviously they're going to be bears in trees at 2,000 trees.
Do you think physically they are bears?
There might be people dressed up as bears.
Oh, I would like that though.
Have you seen the film Midsummer?
No.
There's a part in that where they drug this. Okay, it's going to sound quite sadistic, but it's actually a really brilliant film. This guy is drugged and then he is put inside of a bear carcass. Where the bear's mouth is open, that's where his face is. And because he's been drugged with something that numbs everything, he's not able to move, but he can still feel.
Right.
So, and then he's then put into this wooden pyramid with all these other sort of quote unquote sacrifices, and then he's lit on fire.
Oh my God.
So he can feel it, but he
can't run away.
Yeah.
So he's in a bear costume, burning, can't move, but can feel it on fire.
It was the first thing I thought of when you said bear. Someone in a bear costume.
You don't have to watch some weird films. Is this on Netflix?
It is.
Oh my God. What's it called?
Midsummer. Midsummer is one of the best films that has been made in the last 5 years.
But why is he in that situation?
You'll have to watch it and find out. I'm not going to give spoilers away.
It just seems such a. Why is he doing that? Why is he on fire? Why is he in a bear suit?
If you watch it, you'll find out. It is deserved. Trust me, it is deserved. But so you watch it, you'll find out.
So bears in trees.
Yep.
Okay.
And the next band, animal related again, is, and please don't stop me until I've finished saying this name. It's Pigs, 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 Pigs. That is no joke. That I've heard of this band before. I've never listened to any of their stuff, but the name is just fantastic. It's Pigs 7 times.
7 pigs. Pigs, 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 pigs.
Well, I mean, it's not pig, 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 pig. So it's not 7 pigs. It could be
pigs.
It could be millions of pigs 7 times. A lot of pigs.
All the pigs.
All the pigs.
Yes, but no, they're not in trees though this time.
No. These are probably just roaming the fields. Well, they will be in trees. There'll be 2,000 trees, so they'll be in trees.
Oh, Pigs in Trees. Oh, there's another band name. Yes, if you're starting a band, there's a new name. Pigs in Trees, inspired by bears.
But why would a pig be in a tree? At least a bear in a tree is
Snuffling for truffles. I don't know.
That's another band name, Snuffling for Truffles. That's brilliant.
Okay, so if you want to see all the animals, they are at 2,000 trees.
I do have some more 2,000 Trees news. It's not band related, actually.
Go on then.
So they've got a stage within the woodland. I think it's called their woodland stage, and they've just torn it down. When I say they've torn it down, obviously they didn't leave it there. Obviously you can take it down that, but they're looking to rebuild it.
Did they put a man inside a bear skin and then set him on fire after giving him drugs and then put him on the stage and then it all burnt down?
No, are you disturbed by this or intrigued by this concept?
Yes, because I'm disturbed. That's a very powerful image.
It is. It's a powerful film. It is fantastic. Honestly, it is so good.
Okay, right. Go on, tell me about this stage.
I don't want to now. You've ruined
I'm
it.
interested. No, sorry, that's my mind. That's how my mind works. Go on, tell me about this stage that they've just torn down 2,000 trees.
Okay, so basically, it's a wooden stage within the woodland of 2,000 trees, hence the name. And they've actually got a video on their Instagram where a tractor using a sort of like pincing fork thingy, they're literally just tearing it down. It's a small stage. I think it's for like acoustic artists, and it's supposed to be quite a nice sort of calming, relaxing atmosphere. And it gets very popular at 2,000 Trees, to be fair. It gets a lot of attention. And they've torn it down, I think, to rebuild and make it bigger. So obviously a wooden stage will eventually...
rot.
Yeah.
And get eaten by...
Yeah. Yeah, they're building a new stage in exactly the same place of where it was in basically what they're calling a stripped-back forest sessions. So I assume when they say sessions, I imagine like an acoustic sets from some of the artists that are playing over the weekend.
Where is that? Where is 2,000 Trees actually held?
Nah, you're asking a question.
We don't know.
I will find out, though.
It's in the woods.
It's in Cheltenham.
It's down south somewhere.
In the west.
Southwest. Near Brizzle.
Fairly near Brizzle, not a million miles away from Brizzle, so it's more west than southwest.
And they have camping and stuff there.
Yes, it's the full weekend, full shebang sort of festival.
Oh,
It's not,
shebang! There's a word from the 1960s.
There you go.
Because the way you describe it, it sounds quite appealing. Actually, I think I'd like to try that.
It is definitely one of the, say, if I wasn't going to do Download for a year, it was definitely one of the ones that had always piqued my interest. The same with Arctangen, Tech Fest. These smaller festivals, it's a completely different atmosphere, but I'm very intrigued. I'd love to give them a go one year at least.
Yeah. I think there's scope for that. There is scope for that, definitely. I would like to broaden my festival tastes. Bearing in mind we're called Festpod.
Of course.
And, whilst we mainly aim to cover Download Festival, there isn't always, Download is one event.
Yep.
It's probably one of the biggest metal festivals, but there are lots of other ones, which is why we like to talk about them. And I'd like to give them a go, actually. So 2,000 Trees, I would consider, the way you've described it then made me think, I'd like to go to that.
Yeah. I think, as well, I think Download may have stolen the idea for the In the Trees sort of atmosphere, because with the new layout coming next year, they're putting the cinema tent inside what they call the Kidney Wood at Donington Park. So if you can remember, in 2019, when we had to trounce through all the mud and get up that steep concrete hill to get into the queue.
Oh my God, yes.
Just to the right of the bend, and just on the right there's a little wooded area.
Yeah.
Which is called the Kidney Wood. And that's basically going to be the new cinema tent. It's going to have a cover over it and have nice little lights and that. And they're going to obviously put movies on in there like they do every year.
Great. Well, whatever they're up to for next year, I'm looking forward to see it, because it's all going to be different, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously with the whole new layout, I'm very, very intrigued, and I am looking forward to seeing the new layout. And hopefully, it's not that Download in the past has been bad, but there's always room for improvement.
No. Come on now. 2019 was a great farce, because it was waterlogged. I know you can't do much about the rain, but and I know the reasons for it, the airport and stuff like that, and all the the housing estate and stuff. But they to put the village where it was, I didn't hear anybody say anything nice about that.
No, unfortunately not. And I'm the type of person that doesn't like to be too negative about Download, because I do love going. But yeah, unfortunately, the placement of the village in 2019 was a bit shit.
See, I really liked it when it was just on the top, I liked it when it was before, when you just have to walk along the big green down, and it was all in the middle, and it was all like it was before, and it was better. It was better then. Do you not think it was better then? I think it was much better. So you could go down that road and say, it was all better before. But I genuinely preferred that. But you can't go back. You can only go forward. So
no.
And it does sound like they've thought about it this time.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you've seen the video, it does look like a quite exciting prospect to have it on the tarmac lake instead of the bog that was 2019.
Oh, the bog. Yes, it was. Oh, God. Do you know what? There's only so much I can take. There's only so much. But, as much as I go to a festival because I want to have fun and I want to enjoy every second of it, no matter what it throws my way, there's only so much that I can bear before I start getting a little bit down about it. And to be honest, 2019 was sort of on that limit, because you couldn't get anywhere without trudging through all the mud. And it was really sticky, and I wasn't as happy as I would wanted to be.
I think what it was for me was that, I got drunk and passed out before 4:00 on the fucking Thursday, but I put that down to what it was for me was the fact that because it was so boggy and muddy, like we said, there was no appeal to go into the village.
Yeah.
So we spent all our time at camp, getting drunk at camp, and not being able to really explore, because it was difficult to maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah. And the village is actually a huge part of Download's appeal, because it's nice just to go around the shops. It's nice just to have a little walk around. It's nice to go and explore.
Exactly.
And when you can't do that, basically you've got where you camped and the main arena. which deletes a huge part of download, and it's really important to get it right because it's part of the festival atmosphere, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think since 2019, between 2019 and when download should have happened in 2020, between that they had a lot to think about, and they did. And that video on YouTube does suggest that they have made a lot of effort with the next festival that comes up.
Yeah.
And now they've had another 2 years on top of it to try and make sure that the village at least is as grand and as great as they made out in that video.
Yeah. And it is a huge area. It's a massive. It is literally a lake of tarmac, isn't it? It's huge.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've been on it, and I didn't think it from the maps. If you go on Google Maps, have a look at it. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to fit much on it, but actually, if you've actually been on the tarmac lake, it's huge. They're going to put they will be able to fit the entire village on it, and quite spaciously, I reckon.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It'll be, yeah. Nothing but positive thoughts about the future, to be honest about that. But away from download, we do have some other festivals to talk about, don't we?
Yes. So we're going to go into Europe and have a bit of a chat about them. So the festival Grass Pop, which is it's almost the Belgian download equivalent.
Oh.
And their lineup is looking absolutely fantastic. And I'm not surprised. And you'll remember, they've got about 6 months to go, and they've only got Friday day tickets left.
Oh my God! Wow.
So, and it's their 25th year anniversary, or what was supposed to be the 25th year anniversary in 2020. And their lineup looks absolutely phenomenal.
Does it?
Not only do they have, obviously, Iron Maiden, which we have as well, headlining on the Thursday, the 16th of June. They've got Avenged Sevenfold and Faith No More co-headlining the Friday. They've got Aerosmith on the Sunday. And then they've also got Judas Priest, Five Finger Death Punch, and Korn.
Wow.
The big names at Grass Pop.
There's a nice mix there of bands, isn't there?
See, this is where download for me sort of shits the bed a little bit. The variety in other European festivals is huge in comparison.
Yeah.
You've only got to look at Hellfest lineup and Grass Pops, where you've got the likes of Iron Maiden, Korn, Aerosmith, Five Finger Death Punch, Judas Priest, and they also go even darker and deeper into the extreme metal side of things like the bands that you would see at Bloodstock.
Right.
I think that might be France's huge metal festival. And I mean, whilst all the names on it look amazing, it would be just like clash after clash after clash.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It'd be really difficult to see all of the bands you want to see because it's just so big. It's like it's France's metal version of Glastonbury. It's that big.
Did you not say Belgium?
Grass Pop is Belgium. Hellfest is France.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you say Hellfest.
Hellfest in France has a much more diverse metal sort of lineup. It's huge.
Oh.
They've actually sold out already. They sold out before they'd even announced when they were playing in 2022.
We're all so fucking desperate for festivals.
Oh, big time! I mean, we were lucky. I mean, there was Download. Did Reading and Leeds go ahead this year?
I believe so.
Yeah, for metal fans and alternative metal fans, I say Download was the only one that went ahead in sort of early summer, like June, July. Obviously, everything started reopening in August. Obviously, then you had Bloodstock. But I mean, yeah, for like Download family, probably all been itching to get to a festival, and they weren't lucky enough to get to the 10,000 capacity of the Download pilot, but we were.
The video of that, by the way, if you did miss that and you wanted to go or you're interested, there is a video there are 3 videos of the Download pilot that we made, and they are on YouTube. Just search for Festpod and you'll find our Download pilot videos.
Another European festival that has made some announcements recently is Nova Rock. They are in Austria, Vienna, Austria. One of the big names, or two names they mentioned in their announcement was Måneskin, who won the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yes!
They're fantastic.
Yeah, they're really good.
I really wanted to see them in September at Brixton, but obviously had other plans. But yeah, they were absolutely fantastic. Have you ever heard of the artist Hadaway?
Hadaway? Yes, I know Hadaway. Who doesn't know Hadaway? He's a huge European megastar.
Yeah. You know the song I'm thinking of, don't you?
What is love?
Oh, there it is. Thank you. What is love?
See, you're talking to a man who was on the radio for many years playing pop music. Yes, yes, I do know Hadaway, and I know his music. Yes. What about him? He's not playing at festival, is he?
He's doing an after-hours DJ set at Nova Rock in Austria.
No way. Are you going?
Do you know what? I'd love to have him at Download. Honestly, imagine that. Imagine that being the after-hours DJ.
Do you know what? In the in the tent, in the silent disco tent afterwards, maybe I would love that. I would sincerely go and watch him and love every second because he was huge in the 90s.
Yeah, big time. I'd be well up for that as well. Another European festival that has announced is called Rockfest. I'm currently trying to find the poster, and I am failing miserably. But I believe they've announced as their headliners Nightwish, who I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, familiar with them.
Wargasm
Yes.
are playing over the weekend as well. Obviously, they're playing at Download. They played Bloodstock last year and the Pilot at Download and received a massive, massive reception. I think their listens on Spotify have almost quadrupled since being introduced on the scene.
Great.
In the last couple of years. That's always good. So also on the Rockfest lineup is Bring Me the Horizon.
Oh, yeah.
It's only a matter of time before they headline Download, or at least get a big spot at Download. I'm actually quite surprised that they haven't yet at all.
How many days is that over at Rockfest?
It's a 3 days, and it looks like at the minute, or from the poster that I've seen, it's only like one stage. It's like a small festival.
A small festival, and they've got Iron Maiden. They must have a few quid.
Yeah, when I say small, I think that not many bands are playing.
Okay.
I could be wrong, to be honest.
Do you know what, though? I like the idea of these European festivals because they've got the weather and they've got a little bit of the continent about them. You know, it's a little bit exotic. So I mean, it's Europe, so it's not that exotic, but, you know, it's a bit different.
But it's more exotic than the steak and kidney pie in Britain.
Yeah. I would like to experience it. I would like to go across and see one of these European festivals because it's not like the bands are shit. You know, they've got some amazing bands playing. And I would like to, and then you combine it with a holiday and it's less likely to be absolutely pissing down. You know, I like the idea of it.
No, I totally agree. And yeah, I know we said a minute ago about wanting to try one of the smaller festivals in Britain. One of the large festivals in Europe would be something that I'd love to do. But the likes of, when I mentioned earlier, like Hellfest and Wacken Festival, they're almost like Glastonbury size festivals.
Wow. Could you cope with that?
No, too many people for me. No.
I mean, when Download is full, we don't like it, do we?
No, I struggled with the amount of people that came and watched bloody Guns N' Roses in 2018.
Yeah. I mean, you know, great for the atmosphere, not so much for the pushing and shoving. If you like your own space, then yeah, no.
I'll tell you what, the Pilot, 10,000 people, that was my sweet spot. That's a good amount of
nice, yeah.
That was a good amount of people.
We had such a good time, didn't we?
The music-wise, and actually seeing the bands was amazing. The camping situation, no.
Oh, yeah, the camping was something else, but the show was great.
Oh yeah, big time. That's why I'm seeing it in Shikari again. And well, from the day this podcast is made, I'm seeing Enter Shikari tomorrow in London.
Right? Oh yeah, bloody hell! Where's that? What venue?
Ali Pali.
Really? Oh, it's legendary.
Yeah, this will be the second time I'm seeing them at Ali Pali as well.
Wow. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, can't wait.
Ghost are doing a headline tour.
They are indeed. I believe the dates include Birmingham, Manchester, and London, and I think there's one date in Scotland as well, possibly Edinburgh. But the Ghost, again, there's not many dates, but these are all large arena shows.
Okay.
Which to me would suggest that if they sell well or sell out, they would definitely be potential Download headliner material in the next couple of years. And I don't see why not. When they did Bloodstock a few years ago, which I saw, they were fantastic in the headline slot. And then they supported Metallica a few years back at the Etihad and Twickenham Stadium. Wow. Dave Kingdon, he went and saw them. Dave, our other Festpod guy,
who you may have heard in the earlier episodes.
He went and said that they're absolutely fantastic. And he's a massive Ghost fan, so if you see them at the top of the bill, he'd be very happy.
So there's not many dates on that tour, but if they do sell out, then they obviously might add some festivals, or they may add more dates to those existing venues, or perhaps even more venues.
I imagine so. Again, it's not unheard of that when there are few dates on a band's headline tour, they will put out more dates for that venue.
Like the Foo Fighters that announced their tour, there didn't seem to be very many dates on that.
No,
not many venues.
No, and as far as I'm aware, are they on sale? I'm not sure if they're actually on sale now, or they're already sold out, or what. But yeah, I'd imagine that again, because Foo Fighters are so big, that if they were to sell out very quickly, which I imagine they have or will, they will do extra dates. I think Red Hot Chili Peppers was very close to selling out quite quickly as well.
Yeah, the last I checked on the Foos, they were only the really expensive tickets were left, so I don't think I'm going to get to see them, which is disappointing, unless they add more dates, which I really hope that they will, but I can't see it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the problem with those type of bands. They are so good, and we all really enjoy them, but the ticket prices.
I'm not spending £500 on a ticket.
I think it'd be very rare for me to spend or want to spend up to £75 to £100 on a ticket for a single show.
It's too much. It's too much.
It's like music for some of these artists is becoming just for the rich or the super rich. Like it's just insane. But some people will pay those prices.
I know that they don't make as much money from recording music now, because obviously there's a lot of people who don't want to pay for it, and Spotify in particular doesn't pay their artists much for streaming.
No.
So that they do make their money back on touring, which I can understand. Yeah. They've got to make money, the money somehow, and they have millionaire lifestyles and stuff like that. But if it gets to the point where people like us are saying, "Oh, it's too expensive," really, I think you're shutting off a big part of your audience there.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Enter Shikari are not up to the level of Foo Fighters yet, but their ticket Friday Panic for me cost me £30.
I think that's very reasonable.
Exactly. That's really reasonable. I'm seeing Envisions as well in 2 weeks, and that was £15.
That's really good.
I believe that was a London date. That's a London show, and I believe the Birmingham show might have been Birmingham-Manchester show. £8.
No way.
Yeah, their tickets are very cheap, and they are a fantastic band. And if anybody hasn't heard of them, go and listen to them because they're fucking fantastic. And if you have heard of them, go and see them.
I've got Royal Blood booked at 3 different places. I've got them in London at the O2, I've got them in Birmingham, and I've got them in Manchester all next year. And I don't think I'm paying more than £50 per ticket.
Bloody hell, really? For the O2?
Yeah.
See, for me, tickets to the O2 for anyone would be, I'd have thought it would have been £50 on the dot. I think Slipknot and Behemoth was around £50 for their O2 show.
Yeah.
Placebo are doing 2 shows at Brixton in London, and they're £45 a pop.
When's that?
That is in 2022. I think that's December 2022.
Okay. Have they got a new album out or something, or what?
They've got a new album coming out in March. Yeah, they've released 2 tracks from that new album. Yeah, bear with me. One of us, Beautiful James, which I think we discussed on the podcast before. It's a really lovely track. It is a really, really nice track. It's a Placebo track.
Yeah,
and I think it's absolutely lovely. There is another one they've done recently, or released recently from the upcoming album.
I knew you'd be on top of this because you're a fan of Placebo, aren't you?
I love Placebo.
I'm surprised that they're still together. How long have they been together now? It must be, it's decades.
1996 was the first album. That was their self-titled album. That was the album that had the song Nancy Boy, which they're one of the most famous songs that they made.
I'm gonna save us all, and I'm not gonna count those years up and tell you how long they've been together, because I don't want to know. I don't want to know how long I've been alive for. It's just a reminder of the fact that I'm closer to death than I was when Placebo were around in the early days.
I mean, I could tell you off the top of my head if you want.
No thanks. Okay, are you going to go and see Placebo?
If there are tickets available, closer to the date, then maybe. Like I said, £45 a pop. It is expensive. I do love Placebo, don't get me wrong, but for a show at Brixton, and if you've been to the Brixton Academy, you might understand what I mean when I say this.
Oh, was it rough as arseholes?
The Brixton Academy is quite, for £45, it's not worth it.
Oh my God.
Placebo worth it. I'm actually quite shocked. They got 2 dates at Brixton. I think I'd rather have seen them at Wembley. And actually, in fact, when I did see them at Wembley a few years ago, the tickets weren't £45 a go.
So isn't it funny how you know you love the band, but particular venues you don't want to go to? I had that with Royal Blood in Nottingham, Rock City, I think it's called, and it's apparently a legendary venue, but it's not my cup of tea. Is all I'm going to say.
So the last time I was at Brixton, I went to saw Volbeat, and it's not a venue that's worth that much money. It's an old legendary venue of London. And I understand that, and I get that, and I understand the appeal. But for £45, is a bit much. I'd expect that price at Wembley. Yeah. If I'm totally honest.
So that is the Festpod news for episode 13. Next, we're going to get some advice about going to download in the guide. In this section, we'll try and answer your questions about what it's like to go to Download Festival, things we recommend, and things to avoid. This time, transport. There are lots of different ways to get to Download Festival when you go. It can be easy and it can be complicated, depending on where you're coming from and your mode of transport. It's right next to the airport, East Midlands Airport, which I would expect people to come via, if the people coming from Europe, maybe. I believe there are flights to East Midlands Airport from Europe, but obviously if you're in the UK, it's unlikely that you're going to go there. It's a place for bands to land. Iron Maiden famously landed there. Huge aeroplane to play there a few years ago. Remember that?
I wasn't in the arena. I heard a lot of commotion, and then I had to watch the highlight video afterwards to remember. Oh yeah, that's why everyone was kicking off. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cloudy, so you didn't see the plane.
But I imagine they may do something similar this year. For 2022. Of course, they're headlining the Saturday, so I'd assume they'd be doing the same thing.
Maybe.
Might get a second opportunity with touch wood.
If it's sunny, hopefully.
With better weather, yeah.
And, it's pretty obvious that if you've been to Download before, you know about the airports, you can't really escape it. And it is literally next door, so if you are coming in via the airport, you could literally walk it. But, if you're walking it with all of your gear, then it's a little bit of a trek, but, it is walking distance, really. I'm sure they have shuttle buses, do they?
I'm pretty sure they do. In the past, that's where the drop-off point was, the airport car park, and they'd always, and I assumed they'd always done a shuttle bus from there. They also do the shuttle bus from the centre of Derby,
yeah,
and I think they've got a bus from Nottingham as well. So so if you're local to those areas, then you've got the shuttle bus to get you straight there.
That's the thing about it being the airport, is you've got the transport infrastructure, all of the transport links that can go in there from various places not too far away. So it's not a bad place to drop into if you're coming via the airport. However, if you're coming on a train, which a lot of people do, how far is the train station?
Train station is about a 5-10 minute taxi drive away, but there is a taxi rank out there waiting for people to come straight off the train. I've done it I did it in 2017, did it in 2018, did it by myself. The minute that you get off the train, there'll be a taxi rank waiting for people, and you'll never have to get it alone. Even the day before download, when obviously we stay in a hotel for the night before, there were people queuing up to get into taxis, and they basically get like about 6 or 7 in a row, like 6-7 seater taxis, and just start piling people in and just asking whereabouts they're going, because the majority of people will be heading into Castle Donington, or actually if it's the Wednesday of the festival, they'll be heading to the festival. So if you go via the train, don't fret too much about getting from the train station to the festival, because there will be taxis waiting outside for you.
And what is the station? Is it Donington or is it Derby or what?
It is not. It is East Midlands Airport. No, East Midlands Parkway.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, everything is literally central to the East Midlands sort of name.
Yeah, and it's really close. I don't really know where it is. I don't think I've ever seen it actually, but it's basically at the airport, is it?
Pretty much, yeah. If you were looking to obviously go to the airport, that would be the train station to go to. So East Midlands Parkway is the train station to get to Castle Donington or to at least make the journey easier.
I guess because you were coming from the south, that generalised area, the south, that you had to take a connecting train. Is that right?
I had to take a few trains. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I think the first year I did it, I had to get from where I lived in South Bucks to Reading, which is in South Berkshire, and then from there up to Derby, and then from Derby to East Midlands.
And how did you find it with all of your paraphernalia, all of your all of your bags and booze and food and God knows what else that you had with you?
I like to think I am a physically strong person,
okay.
And it didn't cause me much hassle. But being that person that's dragging all the crap through the train station, trying to avoid people, that's the biggest issue. If I had any advice about people that are taking the train, just try as best you can to pack lightly.
Was it busy?
Yeah, even during the day, if it's not rush hour, even during the day, train stations can get quite busy.
Right. Okay. And what sort of train is it? A big train or a little train?
Big trains. Yes. These would be a bit for my two particular journeys. They were like going across country, so they're quite long, big trains. Even going from Derby to East Midlands, I think the Derby train on that route goes into Leicester, so that's like a 2-3 carriage.
Yeah.
Small type train.
And is it a nice journey or not?
If you've got a couple of cans of beers and plenty of music and plenty of entertainment, you'd be fine.
Okay. Are they pretty regular, or did you have to, like, is it one every day?
One every day. No. The longest you'd have to wait would probably be about 45 minutes. From
because people
Derby.
miss trains, don't they?
Of course they do. It happens all the time. From Derby to East Midlands, I think. On that Tuesday, I believe I think the trains were like every half hour, 45 minutes. So if you miss one, you're not waiting around too long.
That's very regular, isn't it? That's all right.
Yeah, that I can cope with. But if it's every bloody hour or every hour and a half, no, it's a bit of a snooze fest.
Yeah, because it might be nicer to take the train. I'm always in favour of leaving the car behind because at big festivals like this, you can be pissing about with trying to park the car for absolutely ages. Trying to get out at festivals can be a nightmare just because there are so many thousands of people there all trying to do the same thing as you. So I'm always in favour, if you can, of taking trains and stuff. But if you are going via the car, there are motorway links. It is bang on the M1, isn't it? It's right next to the M1.
Yeah, it's slap bang. I think. Do you know what? I honestly think it's slap bang in the middle of the M1, linking London to the north. Like it's very easy to spot. You'd have to come off the M1 and go into the A453, and that would take you straight into Castle Donington.
And to be honest, they say don't follow your sat nav. Follow the yellow signs that say download.
Yeah, I imagine the sat nav will probably take you round to the main stage entrance or the RIP entrance instead of the actual car park.
I don't really know. I mean, I've always followed the advice and followed the yellow signs, so I don't know where your sat nav ends up taking you. But to be honest, it's quite countryside-y.
Yeah, well, I mean, I reckon that your sat nav will try and take you towards the racetrack.
Oh, it could do, couldn't it? Yeah.
The Donington circuit, it might try and take you towards that. So yeah, set your sat nav to, I don't know.
Well, you can set it for there, and then when you start to pick up the yellow signs, just follow those, can't you?
Yeah.
And the M1 is easy to find for everybody, isn't it? Really, no matter where you are.
With my house is practically it's about 40 minutes from the M1. I've worked this all out. Honestly, like I think it was the first year I got my car and I had to drive for the first time. I looked at like so many possible routes that I'd have to take.
Car parks. Now, the situation for car parks is going to be slightly different. So the information that we give you may not be 100% right. But what they normally tend to do is put you in some of the fields around Donington Park Circuit.
That is correct. The last few years, before 2019, all weekend ticket holders were put into what they call the South Car Park, and then we have to walk over the bridge or walk across the road to get to the main queue. 2019, we were moved into the West Car Park, which was, if you were looking at the Donington Circuit on Google Maps, you're literally on the left of the circuit, the tarmac lake, and they're going to use the fields that we used in 2019, and they're hopefully going to try and use the other field behind it as well as part of parking and camping.
In the past, you used to have to park a long way away from where you were actually camping. And so it really was a hike up and down hills that were muddy and full of stones and quite difficult to get through with all your shit. And sometimes you'd even have to go back to your car to do another run with all of your shit that you brought with you, your kitchen sink and all that. And it was quite difficult. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's a proper hike. So you'd need to bring boots with you and stuff like that. But I believe that in the future, 2022 onwards, the plan is to move the car parks a lot closer.
Yeah, to be at least a lot closer to where people were likely to camp. And then obviously you'd be able to set up easier, and then still be only about 2 minutes or so from the village, and then about between 5 and 10 minutes from the arena. Yeah, the future is bright with the organisation of the car park, but what
it was a fucking nightmare. I mean, it really was, wasn't it? I hated it. I hated having to walk, especially if it's wet. Oh my God, it's the fucking worst. Yeah, so anything they do to improve that is very, very welcome.
Yeah, I mean, 2017, 2018 was absolutely fine because it didn't rain for the first 2 days, or I don't think it rained at all actually in 2018. But 2019, 2016... 2019, it pissed down the entire time. 2016 was fantastic weather for the first 2 days, and then as soon as Friday hit, the monsoon came.
Yeah, and getting out of the car parks at that time, I mean, they had to sometimes to bring in tractors to help cars out of the mud, and I did see a few wheel spinning cars as if they were on ice. It was in 2016. That was insane. Yeah, it has improved since then. I mean, there is still a long way to go. I mean, I'm reserving judgment on whether they've managed to improve it or not until I see it in 2022. But it can only get better. Is from what I've experienced. It got to the point where you used to be able to rent like these little wheelbarrow things as you reached the edge of the circuit to put your stuff into, to wheel it down, because you might, obviously you don't want to have to carry everything on your back or in your hands or whatever, and you could get a big sort of blue wheelbarrow thing that you could rent. I don't know how much that was, but
I always find that's for me, that was always too little too late, because it was quite close to the front of the queue. It's a £20 deposit.
Hell, that's a lot of money for that to
you to do that. To me it wasn't worth worth investing in, because it was too close to the front of the queue. And just bring up like a not a wheelbarrow. What have we got?
It's like a cage on wheels or something that you get from... Well, we got ours from Costco, didn't we? But
we did.
The little pulley thing. It's like a garden sort of tool thing. I don't know what they're called.
What is it? Oh, Christ, yeah. Right. Well, we know what we're talking about. Nobody else might know what we're talking about, but yeah.
Little carry thing on wheels. Anyway, so we've got other guides to talk about that. So there's plenty of advice that we've given you in the past. Go and have a listen to one of those. Now, not everybody wants to take a plane to download. Not everybody wants the train. Some people don't even want to use the car. Some people want to take the bus. So there is the Big Green Coach Company, which famously runs to a lot of different festivals around the UK all the time. And if you're on their emailing list, they're constantly emailing you about places that you can go to.
Yeah, their drop-off or their pick-up points. I think there's like 50 drop-off or pick-up points around the UK, including like Reading, Plymouth, Swindon, etc., just to name a couple in the south. But yeah, it includes your ticket as well. So if you can't get your own transport, i.e. use a car, or you don't want to use the train or use a plane, apparently, yeah, I definitely recommend Big Green Coach.
Well, what option have you got? You're going to walk? If you don't want a plane, train or car, you need a bus, don't you?
Hang on. You mentioned walk-in then, and I'm not going to say walk-in, but there are people that do a charity bike ride to download. I think it starts in London, and they cycle to Castle Donington for the Friday.
They must be those people who bring absolutely nothing.
They've probably got their stuff already there. It's already arrived. Their gear's probably arrived prior to them starting the cycle, I imagine. Like there are RIP guests that have obviously set up camper vans or whatnot, and they just cycle there for charity.
I want to stay in the actual Park Farm hotel.
Well, why don't you give it a go one year?
Because you can't do it, can you? Because it's always booked up.
Oh well, I mean, we're going to camp there together in the summer.
Yes. Oh, I have looked at I think I was talking to you about getting a camper van again. And just
yes, you did, yeah.
And the prices have doubled.
Oh shit!
Because they've updated their fleet of camper vans, and so they're all nice and shiny. They're nice newer ones instead of the old bangers from 1996.
Is that a no then on that, or do you still think you're going to...
Well, I still want to do it, because if it does piss down like it's 2016, then I want to be dry, and I'd like to do it. Yeah, no, don't blame you. Don't blame you at all. Since I've got the option, I might as well. So the Big Green Coach Company gives you a 100% refundable coach ticket. This is all information from their website. If you choose the Flexi ticket option during booking, weekend return coach arrives on Wednesday, Thursday or Friday and returns on the Monday. A day return coach, if you're just going for the day, Friday, Saturday or Sunday. Obviously you won't be going there on the Wednesday because that's for people camping. There is a deposit scheme. Secure your seats for just a tenner, and you won't pay the rest until a few weeks before the festival, which doesn't sound too bad to me, that. Sit back and relax and put up your horns and get to know some fellow festival goers. All weekend coaches leave on Monday, climb aboard, all partied out and sleep all the way home. It does remind me actually of when I first went to Download in 2013 as a steward, and I was working the whole weekend. And I went there on a coach with my colleagues and returned on a coach. It was all right, actually. It was nice. It's convenient. Except for when I was the last person aboard the coach because they nearly went off without me.
That just sounds so typical.
That's the only thing, is that, if you're waiting for coaches amongst hundreds of other people, and your coach is about to leave and they can't find you, that's tricky, because how are you going to get home? You can't take a plane. You can't take a train because all your shit's on the coach. Anyway, so you've got options there, and not each one will suit everybody. But I'm quite keen on the idea of getting on a train. Actually,
it's not too bad. Like I said, the only piece of advice I would give would be not to bring the kitchen sink with you. Just try and be as minimalist as possible with your camping gear. I think I did okay. Bought stuff at the festival when I did it, so it wasn't too bad. I think once I drunk all my beer, I had an extra bag to put in all the stuff that I bought from the festival.
Oh, right. Wow. Yeah, the other thing about the car parks is there is a charge to use the car parks. You have to pay for a thing with your ticket, usually, and they'll send it you through the post. So you get like a little sort of a thing, like a hook thing, cardboard hook thing to hang from your rear view mirror with your name and your phone number on it, so that if there's any explosions, they can give you a ring. Your car's on fire.
It's only £21. It used to be just 20, but the one added pound goes towards a charity or a company that are trying to reduce our carbon footprint.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know about that.
As it were. So yeah, that's a good thing to obviously book in advance, or you've got to pay £25 on the day of arrival. So it's not a massive jump in price, but it's always good to be prepared. And obviously, I'd book in advance.
It's nice to pay less for things, I find.
It is.
There's plenty of options there for you. Literally, plane, train, car, or coach, or walk, or cycle. As we found out, you can cycle in, which I think is a mental idea, and I would not advise that. I know it's for charity, but it just sounds mental.
It is a long old slog. I looked at it and thought about it one year, and I thought, nah.
Oh, you didn't? No, you're not convincing anybody. You never thought about it.
Look, right. What goes on in my head stays in my head. You ain't got a clue. Or I'll just let you in a little snippet that I had a thought about it, but then I thought twice about it.
Yeah, exactly. And made the right decision and got on the train instead.
Yeah. Or then just got a car.
Oh, you bought a car instead? Okay, fine.
Yeah. I mean, for me, whilst the train was a good experience and is a decent method because it saves the hassle of driving, obviously, if you want to leave your car at home, but I find it a lot easier to just drive. I love driving. I love driving up. Apart from 2019, my car decided it wanted to stall it and then not restart on the hill in the car park.
So the moral of the story is not to buy a shit car.
I didn't buy it. I got given it.
Oh, well, there we are. Okay. So, you can tell us your do's and don'ts. Tell us something we've missed. Any modes of transport we didn't cover. Or just give us your opinion on what we have just talked about. We would love to hear from you. We often hear from people who say, "Oh, I was thinking about getting in touch with you, but didn't." So if you're one of those people, do get in touch. We would love to hear from you. We really would. And we're nice. We're nice. We're normal, aren't we? Just send a message through the socials or at festpod.co.uk. Oh, God. I do that every show. I can't say it. Festpod.co.uk. Not clay.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
So just click on message or look for Festpod on the socials. Next up, we're going to find out what's coming out of your mouth on social media. In this section, we have got some of your replies to our question online when we asked, what's on your wish list for download 2022? It's not far away before we can actually start saying it's 2022. Where has this year gone? I can't believe it.
Oh, do you know what? After the last 18 months of literally just like the slowest 2 years ever, the last few months,
Yes.
the back end of this year has actually gone really quickly.
It's crazy. I don't know what's happened to us all. Because it's not like I haven't done anything. I've been doing loads. I've been constantly busy, and you're buying dogs and buying houses and getting people up the duff and all sorts. So,
Oh no! Hang on. That last bit. No,
you are, aren't you?
quite.
That's the plan, anyway.
Well, I mean,
You're getting your swimmers ready.
The whole adulting thing. Yeah, that'd be the last thing
Oh,
to do.
who
I
wants
suppose.
to be an adult? I don't.
No, I don't. I'm not saying I'm
crap.
I'm not saying I'm enjoying it.
Who wants to pay council tax? I don't want to pay council tax, for Christ's sake. So we did have some responses to our question. What are you looking forward to? Well, what's on your wish list for download 2022? What's on your wish list, Lee?
Honestly, do you know what? When we posted this, I've struggled to think about it, to be honest. Like what actually I'd really want, because I mean a lot of the answers that we've had, or a few of the answers that we had, exactly what I would love to have as well. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to take their answers.
No.
I think for me, it would have to be
Volbeat.
not quite. It'd have to be
Corn.
no matter. Let me just tell you. Let me just tell you. No matter who the artists that are playing, I want to see something really special. Not just a gig, not just a set of songs, but something really special. Where they bring out a special guest, or or a stage show of some sort. So I mean, stage shows will be just left for headliners or something. But it's just something that just makes you want to remember the show specifically without having to video it and you're glued to it. Like Enter Shikari, the pilot, their light show, which I'm seeing again tomorrow, can't wait, was fantastic. And that will stick with me forever because that was the light show was just insane.
I've never seen anything like it, actually.
No, it was bright, colourful, it was bold, it was brilliant. I say I used a lot of alliteration of the B words. But yeah, it was fantastic.
It was big. It was blue. It was
bold,
bold,
beautiful, bright.
Bombastic.
Bombastic. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that. If I had to be specific, I'd love to have Corey Taylor come out with Korn, and they play the track that they use him on one of the last albums, because it's a great song, to be fair.
Well, you're allowed to be specific. It is your wish list after all.
Aye.
I think I want nice weather. I just want nice weather. Because, well, the thing is that the weather affects everybody, and it affects everyone's mood, because no one wants to go to a festival and have to put up with the pissing rain and the mud. Unless you're one of those people who actually likes to go face down sliding through the mud, which I know there are some of you out there, because I've seen them.
Some people love that. They go nuts for the mud. It's insane. I couldn't think. I mean, I don't want to sound like too prudish when it comes to this sort of thing, but I mean, I can't think of anything worse than getting caked in mud.
Well, I mean, that's. I don't think that's being a prude.
I'm trying to think of the right words. My thesaurus in my head isn't working very well. Like I'm trying to think of the right word.
Okay.
But,
no, I know what you mean though. I think it's fine not to want to be covered from head to toe in mud and.
But some people relish it. Some people relish it. I don't understand what the fascination of dive bombing into a mud puddle.
Oh my God! No, I know. I'm only there for the music and the atmosphere. I don't want mud. So and the sunshine, it just makes everybody happy. The bands are happier. We're happier as an audience. Camping is nicer.
2018, it was a bit too hot for me. It was a bit too bright. If I'm gonna be that person, I will. If it's too hot, I'm uncomfortable.
Oh well, you can bring your duffel coat and your misery hat.
If it was sunny and I wore a duffel coat, I'd be too hot.
Yes, you would. But that's on my wish list anyway. So who knows whether Santa will bring me that for 2022. But when it comes to you and your say, we have had some messages on Facebook. Rory Horgan says that on his wish list for download 2022 is Primus.
Oh my word, that is an absolute fantastic shout.
Is that on your wish list as well?
It is now. I didn't think of that. But Primus they are such a weird, incredible band. Have you watched South Park? You watched South Park, don't you?
Not for about 20 years.
Right, one, you didn't know what you're missing. Two, the theme tune for that was originally done by Primus.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've learned something there.
And on one of their albums, Tales from the Punch Bowl, there's a song about Winona's big brown beaver.
Okay. Right.
It's exactly what you think it is, what the song is about, and it's really weird. I can't explain it, but Primus at download would be amazing.
Christopher Hollings on Facebook says a better lineup is on his wish list.
Oh, see, again, art is subjective. So we've all got different tastes and we're all allowed to have different tastes and opinions. And I, for one, think the lineup's absolutely fine. I don't think there's anything. I'd love to sit down with the people that don't like the lineup and just ask, obviously, what's wrong with it. I assume I'd get a lot of it's repeat artists, it doesn't excite me, blah, blah, blah. But then, like you and I do, Neil, when we're just wandering around and poke our head to a tent, you might find somebody that is your next favourite band.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm looking at the lineup and having listened to most of the bands that are on that lineup now, is the majority of the bands on there, for my personal taste, it's right up my alley. I think there's nothing wrong with the lineup whatsoever. Don't laugh at it's right up my alley.
Sorry. Sorry, this innuendo in my head. It shall stay there.
To be fair, there has been a lack of innuendo in this podcast today, so I'll allow it.
Are you on the Instagram there?
I am indeed. So we've got Alfred __2 doesn't want to have Maiden or Megadeth clash. I totally understand that, because they are two bands from the same cloth, as the phrase goes.
They're both touching cloth.
They're not touching cloth, for fuck's sake. Now that's the fucking snowballing now, isn't it? Fucking hell, Neil, Christ. Right, I understand what this person has, what Alfred __2 has said with this clash, and I agree for the people that are into both those bands. And I agree with the sentiment that I wouldn't want my two favourite bands on the lineup to have a clash, which I haven't started preparing my clash finder yet, but I do believe I may see a couple of early in the day clashes, which will be rather upsetting.
See, I don't even know how you know this, because the times are not released yet, are they?
Oh, no, people guess. So obviously the full lineup hasn't been announced, but some of the stages are rather full. And if you've looked at the previous lineups, so for example, the Doctor Who stage for the Saturday has about, at the minute, I think about 11 or 12 artists. Now, I can confidently say that stage is absolutely set. There will be no more bands added to that stage, because if there's 11 bands on it from 11 till 11 during the day, or 1 till 11 on the Friday, that's absolute. There is no more artists going to be announced on that stage. And it's the same for some of the other stages on the other days. Timings very rarely change either.
Oh, really?
So again, people are just guessing that the times are stuck with the artists that are on that slot. But because there's enough bands already on the lineup, some people are making very large, almost educated guesses as to what's going to happen.
Uh-huh.
And once the full lineup is announced, even without the times, it will be so much easier to make the predictions.
Have we got any room for any more artists on the lineup for download?
Oh, yes. I believe we have about between 90 and 100 artists already on the lineup, and I think there's room for about maybe between 20 and 25 more.
Okay, well, that's reasonable, isn't it?
Yeah, we've still got slots on the main stage to be filled, slots on the second stage to be filled as well. So there's still room for more bands. So for the person that said they didn't like the lineup, there's still potential for this lineup to turn into from a bad lineup to a half decent one.
Fill those slots at download.
Mm-hmm.
On Facebook, there is someone called Oscar Brewster, which I think is a cool name, actually. Oscar Brewster.
That is a pretty cool name.
Yeah. He says that he wants Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes for 2022.
See, I'm not sure they're going to come back.
No, I know. I agree with you.
That slot on the main stage that Frank Carter and Rattlesnakes was occupying, it's a big slot. And
Sorry.
and if they were to be announced, I think they would have already been announced.
Yeah.
But I've been wrong before.
Have you?
And I hope I am wrong, because at the pilot they were fantastic.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
They really did deserve that headlining slot at the pilot, because they were awesome.
They were so good that I would go and see them on their own at their own gig in the future.
They've got a tour coming up, I think.
I think they're doing it now, are they not?
Yes, you are right. You are absolutely right. And they've just announced their support for the Brixton gig, which includes Wargasm. As just one of the names that came up on my Instagram, which I think again is a massive deal, because Wargasm are just flying at the minute. The COVID has been good to Wargasm, I think. If I go off and open up another can of worms, from going from no shows to going to the pilot, to going to Slam Dunk, to going to Bloodstock, to I think even doing Reading and Leeds, all in 2021. Where is my head? Has been good to Wargasm.
Good. Any more replies on Instagram?
I have two more. The original Jack Shack UK said their wish list for is Dry Feet.
Oh, I'm with you there. Oh, 100%.
Which I think many of us would love, just to have just dry feet. Obviously, not a repeat of 2019, 2016, just having just dry feet for the whole weekend.
Even just with, it's been quite rainy lately, and it's been a bit horrible and stormy and stuff. My work shoes have been sodden, and I'm drying them every day, but every day they get wet and sodden. It's horrible having wet feet. It's horrible. And not least because your shoes start to smell and and they have to go in the washing machine or get binned, which is something I'm sure a lot of us experienced at Download.
My work boots, I think today was the day that I realised I need new work boots, when I stood in a puddle and water came in. It hasn't happened before, and it's happened today. They need replacing.
See, it's an awful dilemma when you go to Download, because you want to take nice clothes that you look good in. You want to take nice boots that you are comfortable, and they look nice, they look decent, and they look like the kind of thing you would wear at Download. But if you take them and it gets muddy and pissy and whatever else, and they get ruined, then that's just, so it's a horrible dilemma, isn't it? You know, what do you do?
The worst thing as well is that once you get sodden wet, and if your inside of your tent gets sodden wet, then you're not dry. You're not 100% dry for the rest of the weekend. And that can really play with, obviously, your ability to enjoy the festival.
Do you know what? The pilot comes to mind, because on that first day when it absolutely pissed down, and I was it was absolutely soaked through, and I had long hair at the time, and it just didn't. It looked half decent actually before I turned up, and then when I got out of the car and it started raining, and then for the rest of the weekend it looked awful because I couldn't do anything about it. That pissed me off. So yeah, no rain, please. Dry feet. We're not asking for much. Let's put that on the wish list.
One more for the wish list from Nevermind Polly Podcast. I think we could all agree with this one. 50% off the ticket price.
Oh, yes, please. Yes. Is there a voucher code? Is it on Honey?
Yeah. I mean, Black Friday. I mean, they could have used that to their advantage to again sell maybe a cheaper ticket. Oh, I mean, I know they plugged a lot of the Christmas merch.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Some of the Christmas merch is pretty cool. But I think, yeah, I mean, having that like a limited time only price, the price of a download ticket is £150, not £250.
Oh my God, the price is going up all the time. Do you think they need to do any discounts for tickets? Because it's not like people are starting to... do you know what? I'd take that back, actually. I think people are starting to say, oh, it's getting a bit too expensive. But do you think that they're struggling to fill... Do you think they're struggling to sell tickets?
Part of my brain is saying that they're doing the old Wayne's World, where you set up the festival, people will show up.
Yeah.
To a degree, they're right. You do have your download hardcore that will go every single year, regardless of the lineup, regardless of the weather, and just be happy to just crack on. I mean, you and I've been doing that for the last 4 years. So, I mean, I can't be the only person doing it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
there's people going that have been doing it since day one.
Oh, exactly. Since download was first came on, like 2003, like the people have been doing it every single year,
and they're still wearing their wristband.
Oh God, that's gross.
I know.
Ew. But then, yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, the price of a standard general camping 5-night ticket, maybe it is getting a bit too much.
But everything's going up at the same time, isn't it? Fuel's going up and food's going up and everything's going up. So where does it stop, really? Let's
not open up that can of worms. We're a festival podcast, not a political one.
So thank you for all your replies, and that more or less wraps up episode 13. Thank you very much for your company on this December day when we're recording this. It is very cold. I hope you're somewhere tucked up and nice and warm. But if you're not, don't worry. You can always listen to the rest of our podcasts until you are. All of our podcasts are at festpod.co.uk. You can always get in touch with us, and I always say this, I would love for you to get in touch with us because we love to hear from you. We do get some nice messages saying that they people like the podcast and stuff like that, but I'm talking about you because you haven't messaged in, have you? I'm looking at you, and I know you listen to us a lot, and we're very, very, like I say, we're very friendly. We just want to talk. We just want to communicate with you. Well, we have had one particular person or another podcast get in touch. Oh, another one with me personally. Yes. The Nevermind Polly podcast did get in touch to say that, and I quote, "Freaking love your podcast, my dude." And it's stuff like that that makes it. And it sounds cheesy. It makes it sound cheesy, a bit cliche, but it does make doing this podcast worthwhile when we do get messages like that. Because, I mean, personally, I do like helping people with this sort of thing. I had a personal experience at work where a guy was saying how much he loved Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I just remembered we did a Red Hot Chili Peppers thing on the podcast before it. And I reeled off prices, I reeled off venues. And then he asked me about support. I went away, I came back, told him all the support. And he was absolutely buzzing, and he booked a ticket the day after. It's that sort of thing that is why I love doing this podcast. And having messages like this is exactly why we both love doing it. So if we've changed your life with our advice, Or if you just like listening to us, that would be nice to hear from you as well. Even if it's just a message to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and whatever. We would love to hear from you. Just go to Festpod on the socials and look for us there. Give us a follow as well if you're going to do that. Or go to festpod.co.uk, click on message and give us your verbal greeting. And if you're listening to us on some sort of podcast app, why don't you give us a 5-star review? Because then it helps other people find us. So that's it, and we'll catch you next time. Bye. A Wilco Productions podcast.
Life is all about genitals.